Let's do it live. Let's do it live. Let me see. Can you all hear me? Give me a thumbs up, Harry. James T. James T in the house. Make sure y'all can hear me. Top of the morning to you. Oops, nope, don't want that. There we go. Anybody? Top of the morning? I'm in the basement. Beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. Can you hear me? Can you check? Check. Check. Check, check, check. The man, the myth, the legend. Harry, saying you, I'm not sure if you're saying yes so you can hear me or yes to something else. All right, cool. Right on. Did Army or Navy win? Do we know who won that game? All right, cool. I'm tired, man. Chloe came home, and probably won't be a long live stream now. I'm going to go to bed after that. I don't feel bad. It's 7 p.m. at night. I'm good. 7 p.m. at top of the morning to you. 7 p.m. at night. Not for Josh. Navy won. What was the score, Dave? Was it even close? Because wasn't Army ranked 22? So check. All good, says Ted. What's going on there in Maine, Ted? I was on the Portland, Maine Facebook page, and these idiots were posting all about the Navy won big. Oh, man. 31-13. Damn. All these idiots were posting about homeless people. I said, man, this is a Portland, Maine page, not for homeless people. I've said, if you have your own page posted there, like, we do have our own page. I said, then stop trolling here, man. You friggin' trolls are like, you're evil, you're bad, blah, blah. It's like, dude, this is not your page. Go someplace else. I want to hear what the goings on in Portland, Maine are. I mean, posting something about homeless people is fine, but posting the whole freaking, hey, Tom, Navy won. Okay, that's what we do. Navy wins. Navy wins at being overweight lovers with other men, if you know what I'm saying. No, fine, I wouldn't say that. Fine. If 4% of money market is good enough to cover all your bills, investing more aggressively just makes you greedy. No, it doesn't, man. There might be reasons you want to get your portfolio to grow, to leave more to charity. Vaughn, you should know that. You say, I don't want to be a parable to talents. I'm not going to just waste my, I mean, I'm not saying you have to do that, but it's just like you invest your money to leave more. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's, I don't agree with that at all. That if you're just being greedy, especially if you're saying, I mean, if you're going to consume it all, yeah, 100%. Hey, Marie. But if you're investing with the purpose of leaving more to your kids, leaving more to your heirs, leaving more to the church, something like that, that doesn't bother me. But, oh, man, Navy seamen are busy looking out the porthole. Oh, my goodness, yes. Yeah, Navy was unranked. Yeah, I didn't realize the Army is ranked 22. I was like, Fort Drum, Watertown. What the hell are you doing up there, Paul? Man, sounds cold, dude. Sounds cold. December. It's not even wintertime yet in Fort Drum, dude. I don't miss that at all. Greeting from Ice Storm, Iowa. Anyway, so, yeah, probably not going to be a huge one tonight because I'm going to do this live stream, and then I'm not going to go to bed. Now I probably won't go to bed. I'll probably watch a little bit of TV. I'm just tired. The last couple of days, just been tired. Ever since Chloe came back from college, I think she brought some stuff. My hair is too long. I'm just like, bleh. Had to pick up Maddie at the airport the other day. I didn't get home till like 1. I'm too old for these 1 o'clock nights. Had to get up early because both my kids had ACTs today. Hey, thanks, Jody. Jody says, love the channel. Both my kids had ACTs, so I had to get them up early on a Saturday. So I'm just like, bleh, just a big fat blah. But my man, Dave, I don't know if he's on this or not, but I'm going to make some sourdough bread manana. That means tomorrow for you non-Spanish speakers. Can't wait to make the sourdough bread because I want to save some money. And I'm going to try to make a gates of hell. Look at a gates of hell. But Pulverizer's in the house. All right. So we can shut down now. She said, yeah, I'm going to try making some homemade butter tomorrow. We shall see if I feel good. Pacific Northwest. Rob and Ellen's in the house. But Clemson. Going for Clemson for sure. Love to see Clemson shock everybody. Oh, yeah. So welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Pacific Northwest. First one. Hey, Charlie in the Philippines right now. You getting snow out there or what? What's the weather in the Philippines? Oh, man. All right. So let's see what else we got going on. Just let a couple more people show. Pittsburgh, PA. Bride's in the house. Right on, right on. Oh, sorry about the yawn. It's kind of rude. I'm a rude guy. I'm rude. All right. So we got no one on Facebook right now. We got 2 people on Twitter, 64 on Heritage Wealth Planning, and 6 on the Josh Scanlon Facebook page. Miguel's from Guatemala. What's up, Miguel? From Guatemala. Hi, Miguel. He was making sure we knew he was joking last time about being from Guatemala. That's all right. It's all right, Miguel. Where are you from, Miguel? Mayorga? All right, where's your, I know you're not in Guatemala. Is that, are you a native of Guatemala? Philippines, always above 70 degrees. Yeah. Michigan, 70 degrees right now, Charlie. Loving your meat box purchase. Yeah, man, that's pretty good. Like I said, I bought these. I love bone-in pork chops. I bought some bone-in pork chops from a local farmer here, and they just did not. From California. All right, gotcha. Right on. Happy. No, don't. Jason Whitlock has a song. Don't put an X in Christmas or something like that. What does he say? It's a great song. Don't put an X in Christmas. And he goes, we have a place for. Man, it's a great song that he's got. Don't put an X in my Christmas. But if you've won the game, why take on more? No, what I was saying, I get that. But I mean, again, going back, Vaughn, to what I was just saying, is like you could take on more risk if you're saying, look, I don't need this money. I'm just going to let it grow so I can give more. You know, like this guy's talking today, they want to give $100,000 to their church fund, for instance. And, you know, I mean, that's a wonderful thing to do, you know, a church rebuilding project. And, you know, it takes money for that. So if they can get, you know, instead of getting 4% a year, they can get 8% a year. You know, that will quickly develop that $100,000 more to do that. I mean, but look, man, I'm not going to criticize anybody. I just think if you're guarding your money, like, oh my goodness, you know, like a freaking Scrooge McDuck. Yeah, happy Christmas, right on. And I'm not bashing it, John. It's fine. I thought it was a pretty good song. I said, yeah, man, why we call it Xmas? I don't want to X out Jesus. Legacy planning is the key after our. Wow, look at Ray, dude. Ray's got a smoking hot wife, dude. How'd you land her, Ray? You must be freaking. Ray's got money coming out of his. Wow, look at Ray's wife. Holy crap, dude. Ray's like ugly as hell, but his wife is smoking hot. So Ray must have freaking a lot of money in some portfolio that his wife is aware of. Countdown to, yeah, I know, man. I think Schumer's going to take up, and Sniffy Joe's going to gonna sign it for sure. So good on Sniffy Joe for leaving. It's a fembot. I don't know, man. I doubt it. If I was Ray, I'd be freaking. Ray must have been in the Navy. She's aged very well. We started with nothing 36 years ago. Yeah, right on. Everyone thinks you're married to you're a bot, Ray, because your wife is smoking hot, and you ain't. If you know what I'm saying. And that's there's nothing to be ashamed of, brother. My wife says the same thing about me. I'm 100% C-fund and I'm old. Yeah, exactly. Tom, I don't know what that means. Tom's got to speak English. It looks like it's Greek or something like that. Pulverizer just jealous. He's like, Ray doesn't have a woman that looks that good. If she looked that good, she'd be marrying me. So it must be a fembot. It can't be a real lady. It's got to be a bot. It's got to be AI. I was very lucky. My wife, she's 63, looks 43. Yeah, but we don't see a picture of her, dude. Look, basically, it's all dudes on this channel by and large. So if you're not showing a picture, no one believes you, man. No one believes you. Like, you've never seen my wife either. I don't think you've ever seen maybe a couple times, but I have a fembot myself. Where the X comes from in Christmas. Oh, that's okay. Interesting. Interesting. Where'd it go? Where'd that? So that's all right. Interesting. Yeah, and Vaughn, I'm not. Look, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not at all. I just think at the end of the day, it's if you're guarding your money like it's Fort Knox, I don't think that's biblical in the least. If you're guarding your money for expenses, absolutely. But if you're guarding your money, say, hey, we have a lot of money, we don't want to watch it go down. Look, that doesn't mean we go in the stock market. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying at the end of the day, it's like, what are you trying to, not you, Vaughn, but what are you trying to accomplish with your money? Are we trying to save it, because we're so scared? We don't want to be scared in retirement, But now, with that said, if you have your portfolio that you're relying on and you're worried about running out of money and you have enough to survive with a 4% rate of return, then fine. Nothing wrong with that at all. But if one of the intentions is to leave a bigger legacy, potentially, I don't think it's being greedy. I just think it's it makes sense to me. But, teach his own. It's all good. Health is well, says Roy Wasson. Right on, man. God bless Tom. God bless Tom. Oh, you're saying God bless Tom for what the X and X Christmas comes in? Yeah, I don't think the Cape's too high. Just because we talked about that last week. I think I don't think the Cape's too high at all. I just don't. They've been saying the Cape's too high since 2011. Please contact your senator to vote yes on HR 82. Total repeal vote is on Monday or Tuesday. Wow, look at that, man. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I did not know that. So, I knew that Schumer was going to bring it to a vote. I did not know that they're going to vote on it Monday or Tuesday. I bet that gets substantial bipartisanship. I bet it does. I get jealous if I saw your wife. Well, anyone can say that, but until we see it, we don't know what to believe, man. Just a heads up regarding Social Security, you don't receive it at 62. It's actually 62 and 2 months. So you're going to have to give yourself 2 months before you get social. Gotcha. Good call, Harry. Tallahassee's in the house, says John Porter. Ted says, you may get a new female viewer. I just turned my conservative Christian female friend onto you today. All right, sweet. Not many in Maine. Right on. Well, not where you are. There's probably more the north part, but sweet. Good. All right. Now she probably, hopefully she doesn't mind the helmet fest that we have here, but it's all good. It's all good. How the government stole Christmas with inflation. Yeah, that guy crushes, Kevin. Fantastic. Hope for more. I was trying to confirm, not that I don't believe him, but he said we have like 30 years left of jet oil. And I did a kind of cursory look. I wanted to see that. And I didn't see anything on that. Now, again, this guy knows a hell of a lot more than I do. But I'd like to see that a little bit more. I'd like to see some clarification on that. I didn't see that, actually. And again, I literally just did, probably a 30-minute look on Google of all places to see if there's any article that says, we're running out of jet fuel or our jet fuel is limited. I didn't see. I don't know. I'm ignorant on that, but I had never heard that before. And having Kevin, who's literally is a smart guy, a physicist, talk about that was kind of illuminating for sure. Tom said he didn't look at I'm not sure about that. That doesn't mean it's not true. It just means I don't know, man. It just you'd like Deborah. She's our kind of people. Oh, sweet. Hope she doesn't mind laughing. If she's a Christian conservative, she'll have humor, and that's what we try to do here. To some regard, have humor. If we can't laugh, then what the hell? I think it would be more of a prominent issue if that was something that was, again, I don't want to say true because I don't want to imply my man Kevin is misleading, but just like, I don't know, it just seemed, I had never heard that. I'd like to see some validation of that for sure. Buffett said asset allocation is dumb. Is he right? I don't have any asset allocation, so I just don't know if it's true though. I just don't. And again, I'm not saying Kevin's lying. I just don't know. I wasn't able to validate that. Tom wasn't able to validate that. So yeah, would it really be that bad? If it's, I don't know, man. It just seemed odd to me. I'm not sure. Maybe he might be talking something different than we're not understanding. But a 30 to 70 glide path allows to be safe and still be invested in the market. Yeah. Now, when you're saying a glide path, are you saying a glide path where you get more stocks as the years go by or more bonds? Ray says he's not Navy, by the way, but 30 years in commercial nuclear power, so I work with a lot of ex-Navy guys. U.S. 500 companies are multi-international. Is that enough for international exposure rather than investing international? That's what I do, 100%. Absolutely. That's what I do. That doesn't mean you should. In fact, if I do it, you probably should not. Yeah, but you can't. I don't know, man. Talking to those investors, you can't really. I don't know. It seemed odd to me. I'm not going to say much more than that. I just don't know. Well, that's what I'm saying, because flying would become crazy expensive if that were true. And I mean, we're talking, if we're running out of jet fuel in 30 years, then it's going to be impossible for anybody to fly. I mean, that's what I was wondering, had something to do with the refining thing. I don't know. If inflation is 3%, but my house is paid off, no car loans, whatever, so my inflation 1%. Okay. Vaughn is saying, if the supposed inflation rate is 3%, but my house is paid off, no car loans, no debt whatsoever, is my inflation rate 1%? Well, it could be, Vaughn. I mean, it's I was going to do a video on this today. I don't have a lot of motivation today. I don't feel great. I mean, I don't feel bad. Just like that. Anyway, so I was looking at the property taxes. Actually, I was looking at a place up in Maine, and then I looked at another one in Virginia from where I used to live. And I basically looked at all the places I used to live in some random houses. I looked at the property tax over the last 15 years. It's amazing how much property taxes have gone up. So even if you don't have a debt, those property tax. Now, mind you, if you're consuming $100,000 a year and your property tax goes from $3,000 to $6,000 over the course of 5 years, that's a pretty significant inflation amount, but it's not a pretty significant inflation relative to your consumption, if that makes sense. So it's always your consumption. If your consumption is $100,000 a year and $50,000 of that is going on bread, and bread goes up by 10%, then your inflation rate right there is going up by 5%, because half of your expenditures, bread, has gone up by 10% a year. So anyway, at the end of the day, it really depends on what you're consuming. And so this is why I think the CPI numbers are just so jacked up. I've said a million times. You really have to say, I'm consuming this, that, and the other. What are the increases in prices on those products? Because you're not consuming owner equivalent rent. You're not consuming rent. You're not consuming transportation in terms of what the BLS says. You're just not. I mean, that's just dumb. But you might be consuming other things that have a different inflation rate. Your healthcare consumption, your cost of your bread. I mean, all these things. So it really just depends on what your expenditures are. But it's not just your expenditures are. This is what drives you up the wall. People say, oh, man, my property tax has gone up 50%. So my personal inflation is 50%. It's just not true, because your property tax is a tiny amount of your overall consumption. So you take your overall consumption. Let's say your property tax is 5% of your consumption, and your property tax went up by 25%. You take 0.05 times 0.25. That's what you do, whatever that is. That'd be the amount that is attributed for a property tax increase to your inflation. Owning a house is definitely a hedge against housing prices. 100%, man, without question. Owning a house is a great way to hedge against inflation. Great way to have a diversified portfolio, for sure. Jet fuel is made by blending and refining different crude. So blending and refining different crude oil, petroleum distillation products like naphtha, gasoline, kerosene acquire a specific character that makes them best suitable for military. Yes, I don't know why we'd be empty of that in 30 years. I don't know why we'd be empty of that. I just don't know. I want cheap housing, low property tax, no state income tax, and low sales tax. What city? Well, you're going to want to go to, you'd want to go to Chattanooga, other than the sales tax, but then you can skip on over to Georgia, have much lower sales tax. New Hampshire, you won't have cheap housing. You won't have low property tax. You'll have no state income tax and no sales tax. Tennessee, you have cheap housing, low property tax, no state income tax, but high sales tax. Georgia, you have cheaper housing, lower property tax, very limited state income tax, depending on what your income is once you're over 65, and a moderately low sales tax. So, dude, totally, man. When I was a kid, only the wealthier business people flew commercial airplanes. Now ghetto flights are like $50 on Spirit. Yeah. Dude, I flew on Spirit one time. And you'll be shocked. I was sitting next to a rapper from Boston who's doing a rap concert in Atlanta. And apparently he's somewhat well known too. I'd never heard of him. I just got, he's a nice guy. I just got chatting. So what are you going down to Atlanta for? He's got a show in someplace. I said, what kind of music? He goes, I do hip hop. And I said, oh, what's your name? He goes, whatever it was. I can't remember. And I texted my kids and he said, oh, yeah, we've heard that guy. It's why next be on Spirit. Let's just put it this way. Spirit Airlines is very notorious, and I'll just leave it there, man. You don't want to, let's just put it this way. When you're in Atlanta, going into a Spirit Airline queue, you're going to stick out like a sore thumb if you look like me. Let's just put it that way. No one's mean. No one's rude. It's different. It's kind of like, who was saying, I forgot who was telling me this. I think it was my man from, I'm drawing a blank his name. He's from Ireland. I forgot his name off the top of my head. I can't believe I can't remember his name. Anyway, I think he was telling me, he goes, if you go to an airline and you got two groups of people, you got the Irish going to Ireland over here and the British going to England over there. The Irish are just crazy, loud, basically white trash, and the England are just very proper and snobs. You know what I'm saying? I said, man, that is so funny, dude. Because remember where the Scots Irish are, the Appalachians, they come from the high country Scot, they come from the Wales, they come from Ireland and whatnot, and white trash rednecks, man. That's all there is to it, and they don't care. And as such, the Irish that go back to Dublin, they're all loud and obnoxious and boisterous, and the English all, Martha, did you see that? It's funny. With that said, I'll never forget being on a plane flying from San Antonio to DC, and I was next to some West Virginia guys going back to West Virginia because they basically in Georgetown, Kentucky, there's a Toyota plant, and they were from West Virginia. They work in Georgetown, Kentucky, but they went to San Antonio to learn how to build a Tundra because the Tundra is also big in San Antonio. And these guys were literally like flying on Spirit Airlines, if you know what I'm saying. They brought out they had this Penthouse magazine. They're all showing, they're all effing this and this and that, man. I'd be on. It's like, it was embarrassing. I'm not going to lie. So I'm not that white trash. You know what I'm saying? Those guys are definitely white trash and they don't care. They're like, yeah, that's what we are. We don't care. We literally don't care. And I say, yep, that's not my people either. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, if you've ever been around true white trash, you're like, yeah, that's not my people. So even though I say, kind of, white trash, that not like that white trash. It's just not, you know what I'm saying? It's just kind of funny because I was sitting there thinking, I remember telling my wife, said, yep, this is why I don't want to move to West Virginia. I'm sure they're wonderful people, but not my kind of people. You know what I'm saying? And the same with this going on Spirit Airlines. Say, yep, it's just like going back to Ireland, man. These guys, except they're black. They're black Irish, essentially. It's like, dude. Moonshine Mafia, 100%. I'm proud to be an Irish caravan. Oh, dude, I imagine that Carnival boot. Oh, that sounds like hell on earth, man. That sounds like hell on earth. All right, so let's talk about this. The Spirit and Allegiant are Greyhound buses with wings, 100%, man. Dude, what Greyhound bus? Oh my, it brings back a memory. So before I had a car, we'd get these 4-day weekends when I was in the Army in Fort Durham, New York, wherever that guy was. And I'd take a Greyhound bus back to Virginia to see my dad and, I had a girlfriend back then and my friends and whatnot. And I'm coming back, but I don't think you didn't have to wear a uniform. You didn't, but you stood out. Anyway, so I'm coming back from DC from the Greyhound bus. So we're picking up some guys from Syracuse. And these guys are like sitting behind me and they were drunk as hell, total white trash. And they're like throwing stuff at me, like, doing like, whatever, spitballs. And finally I said, what the hell, dude? Like one of the guys jumps up, goes, you want to go? Let's go. You think you're all that? I say, I don't even know what you're talking about, man. I'm not trying to fight anybody. I just wish you'd stop throwing stuff at me. You know what I'm saying? He's like, oh, my face, all that. And I turned around and I said, no, I just sat back down. He's like, blah, 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 blah. And anyway, I'll never forget, as we got off the bus, so we got to take a break someplace between Syracuse and Watertown to take a leak. And the priest who was on the bus with us says, good job turning your cheek. I said, well, I wasn't going to punch the guy. He's got 3 guys behind him, and the guy was drunk. I mean, I literally could have worked the guy, and the guy was an idiot. But I don't care for 4 drunk guys, 3 4-1. Even though they're drunk, they're going to get you. He goes, no, but you even imply that you're going to. You just ask them to politely stop. And they did actually. His friend, when I turned my back, said, I'm not fighting you, dude. I just wish you'd stop. And his friend kind of said, dude, you're being stupid to that guy. So they stopped. But I'll never forget a priest as we're getting off the train. He said, good job turning your other cheek. And I said, well, thank you, Father. That's like, dude, I don't want to live around you any more than I want to live around Pity, or P. Diddy. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. I used to call on Georgetown, Kentucky Toyota plant when in sales years ago. You could eat off the plant floors. It's so clean. I bet. Good TP. Good toilet paper? Marie's lost like a crap load of weight, by the way. So I just watched this thing on Twitter about this. Some lady went caveman or carnivore and lost like 20% of her body weight. My wife's like, I'm too big. So, all right, starting the new year, we're going to go with strict carnivore diet. She goes, okay. Because she's really, what's the word? I'm self-worried about her weight. Diddy throws the best parties. That's what LeBron said. When I was working, my property tax went 4K to over 11K. Now I'm retiring and going to go up. Under-4 will stay on retirement income in New Jersey. Well, at least they don't tax you hardly in New Jersey if your income's below 100,000 or 75,000. But the property tax is out of control. The property tax is perpetual, unlike your income tax. Your income tax you can work on. All right, so let's hold on a second. All right, so let's talk about this. So, there we go. So I was working with these people today. I did a video on it earlier. We're gonna bust out the PVC pipe of knowledge, the authentic PVC pipe of knowledge, right there. When I was young, I worked for a Bridgestone. In Covington, Georgia, same thing. But aren't you in the Pacific Northwest, Rob? Didn't you say you're in the Pacific Northwest? You could eat off the floor. Yeah, dude. And then they're going after Jay-Z, who's also a scumbag. All those guys are scumbags, dude. Freaking Beyonce, it's crazy. I did carnivore. Are you at Oregon State? Is that where cut out sugar and watch the calories and weights and walking? It works, yeah. What I'm saying. But don't you miss sugar though? I love sugar. When I first did my Atkins diet, low carb diet, I stopped eating sugar. It was hard for about the first 3 weeks. Then it was fine. But the first 3 weeks is hard, man. But yeah, she'll drop it in ketosis. Yeah. I did carnivore. But it was hard, man. I'm not going to lie to you. All taxation is theft. Yeah, but what are you going to do, man? I mean, it might well be, but there's nothing you can do about it. You got to pay your tax. All right. So let's talk about this. I hope you all can see this. So what we're doing here is that Harry says, eat like you have diabetes. Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. And then you probably won't get diabetes. All right. So what we got here? We got a guy who's 50 years old. I'm just using this for example because a lot of people say, oh, my goodness, I can't do it. And he's got $500,000 in his 401k, just for simplicity. He's going to get 7.2% a year. I'm not adding anything to it. We're just saying he wants to have $1 million by the time he hits 60. All right. When I quit boozing, I became a sugar addict. Well, a lot of people, when they quit cigarettes, will become an addict of some sort too. All right. So anyway, so he's like, I would like to have $1 million when I retire at 60, but I only have 500,000 now. So we're not adding anything. We're not doing 401k contributions just for simplicity. The rule of 72 says if he gets 7.2% on his money, he'll have $1 million by the time he's 60. All right. So if he is 53 and got 10% on his money, he'd have $1 million by the time he's 60. The only reason I want to point that out is because I'm like the guy I was talking to today, the husband and wife. They basically were they didn't have $1 million in their 50s, and now they do, just because patience. And now they kept plugging money in. Invest in NVIDIA, and you'll have 20 million. Where's Harry? Man, did you all see Harry Chew on here the other day? Could not believe it. Harry Chew is back. I'm so glad to see him. Dwight says he has diabetes and he eats like he has diabetes. I'm not sure if I should laugh at that or what, Dwight. It works. Oh, He has died. Okay. And he eats like he has died. Okay. I thought, okay, I'm missing your point. It works. Right on, Dwight. 10. So so basically rule 72, if you want to double your money in 7 years, you need a 10% rate of return. He was back. I can't remember if it was on us last Saturday or Wednesday. He was saying they're the same thing. He said, with prices so cheap, Tesla is basically giving away shares. It was the same thing. I was like, dude, Harry, I couldn't believe it. Harry's back. He even posted a couple more comments. I love Harry, dude. Harry Chew crushes. Just put your money in ExxonMobil. Yeah, if I bought NVIDIA, like anything, 100%. At least you're not saying freaking Bitcoin. All right. So anyway, I also want to point out, people always who are in my age bracket say, I don't have enough. Dude, just wait, man. You're going to start plugging money in there like you didn't believe. And when you do, you'll wake up and you'll be 60, 62 or something like that with over $1 million or whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm just using that because I heard this story 1,000,000 times if I heard it once. Man, when I was 50, I didn't have any money. Now I get over $1 million. I'm 60. It's because the market, I grant you. I mean, that has something to do with it. But the market over this century hasn't been exceptional. It hasn't. It's averaged like less than 8% from 2000. Now, this last 15 years has been exceptional. But the market from 2000 to now is only averaged like 8%, less than 8%. So it hasn't been like an exceptional market for the last 25 years. The last 15, yes, it has been. It's fantastic. So if you miss that, you're probably going to have a hard time making it back. But the facts are, there's no reason you can't expect a 6 to 7% rate of return. If you get a 6 to 7% rate of return, you could become pretty close to doubling your money in 10 years. And hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully you get better than that. I've heard this story 1,000 times if I heard it once. I didn't have anything, and now I get over $1 million 10 years later. It's crazy. Anyway, so in this case, the guy is 60, and they say they're going to need $100,000 a year of income. All right, and that's for everything. What about healthcare? That's for everything. Yeah, right there, Ted. S&P 500 was 0% from 2000 to 2010. 100%. All right, so here he's saying, I need $100,000. And I'm going to wait till I'm 70 to take Social Security. All right. So I'm not going to have any income from 60 to 70. I need $100,000 a year, and I'm going to get that from my portfolio. And we're going to say $100,000 covers everything: income taxes, goes to the Red Sox, the whole thing. All right, $100,000. Now people say, but what about inflation? Well, this is invested in T-bills to keep up with inflation. A lot of people think T-bills don't keep up with inflation. They just don't know what they're talking about. They do. T-bills keep up with inflation. You're not going to make any money on top of that, but T-bills certainly keep up with inflation. So in this case, his $100,000, this is real returns here, because his real return with T-bills will be zero. Zero return means he's keeping up with enough to keep up with inflation. So people say, yeah, but the $100,000 would be $115,000 in 10 years. Well, it's $115,000 is being supported by T-bills, all right, which have also grown with inflation. So this is real return. He's not making any real dollars, but he's not losing to inflation. So he's pulling $100,000 a year from his portfolio for the next 10 years. Again, that covers everything. By the time he's 70, his portfolio is down to zero. His portfolio is down to zero, all right? So he needs, at this stage, though, just like the people I was talking to today, hey, it's Clint. Clint gives you some money. Who needs $100K a year? Totally stupid. Did you not like, I was going to ask you, Clint, on the live stream about Kevin, did you not like the idea of nukes being recyclable? You did a little smiley face on that. I was going to ask you there, but I didn't want to ask you. I didn't want to have the live stream going too long. So I appreciate that. But you had said nukes recyclable and a little laughy face. So I was going to ask that. Anyway, so they need, and it's not just one guy, it's a guy and his wife, by the way. So just as an FYI, now Clint's doing another smiley face. All right. I don't understand your ways with smiley faces, but I'll take your money. Appreciate it, Clint. Clint says, I don't get it. Speak English, Clint. I bet Clint's in an anime, aren't you, Clint? With all these faces, I bet you're in an anime. All right, so husband, wife, $100,000 a year right here, all gone. When he hits Social Security, because he waited till his Right. Someone said men can last on 30,000 a year. 100%. Dude, 100%. I always say men can travel light. 100%, unless they're trying to pick up hot chicks. Men can travel light. You know what I'm saying? And so if we don't need, like this t-shirt, I still got sweatpants on from like the 1920s. You know, all I need is my dogs, my Traeger grill, my gas grill, and to go outside my garden. I don't need much. I don't care what, I don't care if a chick finds me fancy. I don't care. You see what I'm saying? And as such, men can travel very, very light. Women, on the other hand, they don't travel as light as men do, by and large. I mean, there's some that do, I grant you, but by and large, married women are still in that little, you know, the little competition thing, even if they don't admit it. Not some single women aren't, but it seems like a lot of married women are. They still want to keep up with the Joneses. Hey, Penelope! Finally, Penelope's back. All right. Yay. All right. Good job, Penelope. We were wondering where you've been, too. Making fun of you like crazy. Actually, we were not, but good. All right. So anyway, so here we got, and again, a lot of single ladies, be it widows or just, you know, single women who don't have a lot to impress, you know, people to impress, they can travel light too. But I just know as a man, I can travel very light. I'm not a woman, never been a woman. I don't think I'll ever be a woman. As such, I don't know what it's like to be a woman. But in my history, married women spend more than most married men. Not all the time. Not all the time. There's always exceptions. And sometimes the exceptions are pretty big. Not going to lie to you. Generally, 100%. Give me pizza, Diet Coke, and football, and I'm good to go. 100%, says Ted. Women choose to not travel lightly. 100%, dude. It's crazy. Oh, God. Pulverizer. No, oh, boy. Pulverizer rolled snake eyes. He says, I think I have to toot. He went, ooh, that wasn't a toot. And he ran off to the toilet and he threw away his underwear. All right. So anyway, so now because he didn't take his Social Security until he's 70, his PIA has improved to $48.75. This is literally a guy I was talking to today. His wife stayed home to raise the children. All right. And so all these people, you can't raise it. It's not like it used to be. It takes two incomes. No, it doesn't take two incomes. It helps to have a good income for the husband, but it doesn't take two incomes, man. I mean, that's just a fact. So anyway, so here his PIA was $3,800. That's the full retirement age. The amount he would have got at 67. Because he's taken the 24% delayed earnings credits, his Social Security benefit when he's 70 will be $48.75. $48.75, like a shark. Yeah, we call it rolling snake eyes, Ted. And all my kids talk about that. Actually, I said, man, you're going to roll snake eyes. So we call it rolling snake eyes. All right, so here he's got $58,500 a year just from his Social Security. His wife will get half of his. Actually, should be more than that. His wife will get half of his $3,800 PIA. So that'll be $1,900. That would be 22. Whatever, 1,900, like 22,000 something. So it'd be about 80,500. So basically, between he and his wife, they're gonna have 80% of this amount right here, just on Social Security alone. But remember, this is all tax-free. This is not. Also, 60 to 70, that is a party like it's 1999 years. You know what I'm saying? They're going to party like it's 1999, spend $100,000 a year. They got to pay tax on that money. You know, they're not going to pay a 20% tax, but most likely to lose $10,000 of tax. So when all said and done, this $100,000 is the equivalent of $90,000 of spending. They're going to get $80,000 of that from Social Security, but they're 10 years older. If you know, like my premise of this, my whole retirement career is that you spend less as you age. So in this case, their spending is basically whatever. I don't even know what that is. It's 80. I don't have my calculator, but 80. Well, I guess I'll do it here real quick. So they're going to drop their spending. Oops. And this new phone is really getting on my nerves. They don't have a little thing to open it up. It drives me crazy. All right, so So that's 88, basically 90% right here. That's 90%. They're going to retain 90% of their spending from here when you factor in taxes, because taxes got to be paid on this. And this is all tax-free, all with cost of living adjustments. All taking 10% a year from this portfolio out each and every year. Dude. Oh, but what if I only have $500,000? Well, if you only have $500,000, are you really spending $100,000 a year? Then we just do the same thing. We say $50,000. Well, but what if I don't have all this as Social Security? I get it, man. I get all these things. What if you don't have $3,800 a month in Social Security? What if you only have $3,200 a month in Social Security? And your wife doesn't get $1,900, she gets $1,400. Well, you got to figure that out. But I mean, I'm just sitting there thinking, okay, did they run out of money? What's their Monte Carlo say? The Monte Carlo says zero. It's saying zero. The Monte Carlo says zero. They ran out of money. But they didn't run out of income. Anyway, so now we fast forward 15 years, and now he dies. We call him Josh. Josh is dead, and Charlotte is left with just this amount right here. She's single. She's 85 years old. She can't live off the equivalent of $5,000 a month as an 85-year-old person. And what more does she need? What is she going to do at 85? Who, me? Penelope? Am I doing okay? Is that what you're asking? Who are you asking, Penelope? It'll be interesting to see if the Senate passes the GPO bill. They got less than 17 days for Biden to sign. I bet they do. I bet he does. Anyway, so now we see what's going on here. He's like, man, I don't have $1 million. He has $1 million. And you can make this specific to your situation. Oh, pulverizer. All right. Pulverizer's never doing okay, Penelope. We all know that. He's got $1 million. Oh, man, I want to spend $100,000 a year, but I don't have that kind of money. I'm going to take Social Security at 62, blah, 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 blah. I said, just spend down your portfolio. Going back to what Vaughn said, put it up, 4%. I mean, I just sent T-bills here. Now it's worth, you'll never go down. Now it's worth nothing by the time Social Security kicks in. Social Security kicks in, you got freaking $80,000 because you waited till you're 70. You got no taxes ever to pay again. Oh, but I don't trust the government. Dude, I hear that all the time. I don't trust the government either, 100%. But you trust the stock market more? The markets more? I don't get that. I don't trust the government, so I'm going to put all my money in the equity markets? Huh? Doesn't make sense. I mean, how many equity market declines have we had? Did Social Security ever go down by that much? No. So I just, look, man, I get it. Oh, they're going to take away your Social Security. They're going to take away their Social Security? What does their 1040 look like? Their 1040 is zero. They look freaking impoverished. You're going to take away their Social Security when they have no income? They literally have no taxable income at all. None. They're making $80,000 a year, no taxable income. They're going to take those people's Social Security? I mean, are they going to say we're going to means test it so you can't make more than $50,000 a year of Social Security? They might do that. That's a risk you have to take. But again, what I always say is what happens to the market if that were to happen? Yeah, but what about long-term care? Well, she got $5,000 a month. You go to any long-term care facility, everyone says this, $5,000 to $10,000 a month if you need it. All right. So she goes to a long-term care facility with her Social Security. And by the way, we have a house that's paid for. So she sells the house just like my mom's doing. My mom doesn't make $5,000 a month. Yeah, she's got a long-term care facility, Virginia Mennonite Retirement Community in Harrisonburg, Virginia. How does she afford that? Because they know that once she runs out of money, she's going to sell her house, and they're going to, I don't know if they're going to put a lien on it, but they're going to get the exposure to her sale of her house. Anyway, paid off house, zero debt is a game changer. 100% Pepper Moon Garage, 100%. Net worth mean test. Well, in this case, the net worth is what? Nothing here. And they got a house that's worth $300,000. No, you're not doing a HELOC. No way. That'd be dumb. We don't want to add to our expenditures. So we do a reverse mortgage if we had to. And in this case, if we're going to a nursing home, we're selling the house anyway. So that's a great plan. And I'm just surprised more people don't talk about this. Maybe I'll do a video specific on this tomorrow again. Again, every single argument that can be made is, well, I only have $250,000. All right. $250,000. Again, 250, 500, instead of 100,000 a year, it's 50,000 a year. That might not be enough to get by, but the median household income is 68,000 anywhere, something like that. So now instead of getting, let's just say your benefit at, we'll say you got $3,200 a month is your PIA. So your wife will get half of that, $1,600 a month. Or you can say you're even single. We'll just do it, you're single. That's fine. Let's say $3,200 a month is your PIA. Yeah, let's do it, you're single. We're going to times that by 24%. So I don't know what that is. So, oops. All right, so 32 times 1.24 divided by, no, that's not also. What the hell, man? Dude, this really is getting on my nerves. Times 1.24 equals 3,968. So now, oh, look at this. It's basically $4,000 right there, $4,000 at 70. We're spending $50,000 a year, $48,000 a year. Tax flipping free. You're a single man or a single lady, you can't get by on $50,000. Give me a break. So we got 250, that's 50. Double our money to 60. At 60, we take spending $50,000 a year because we're single. We don't even need to change our underwear. By the time that money is exhausted, we have our Social Security kicks in. Our PIA is $3,200 a month, which isn't significant. But with the delayed earnings credits, it equals a little bit less than $4,000 a month, which puts us right back to where we were. Dude. Beer's expensive. 50,000 might not do it. Yeah, you might need to quit, dude. I wonder if I talked to Andrew Biggs. I said, dude, you didn't get offended by that. He goes, no, I didn't even notice it. I said, okay. Yeah, because I said, Andrew, you can leave, but I didn't want him to stay here if he didn't want to be here. I rented a room to a divorced guy on my second floor who got custody of his kid and wife abandoned. We took a guy when I was in high school. We took a guy from West Virginia on the week because he worked in D.C. Craig was his name. We took a boarder. I can't remember how much. I have no clue how much he paid or whatnot, but basically we took a boarder because he went back to West Virginia for the weekend and came back to D.C. for the week. Then he'd go back. That kind of sucked. Not gonna lie to you. We even had the voicemail. This is back. See, I was in high school in the 80s. That's how old I am. The voicemail used to have the little cassette tape in there, and we have my dad and Craig would say, "This is Greg Scanlon," blah blah blah, and the guy Craig, whatever his name was, would say, "And this is Craig. If you need one of us, please leave a message." And then one time, me and my friends were at my house drinking beers and smoking some Devil's Lettuce, and we changed the voicemail to say, and my dad did not find that very funny because we changed it to say, "Let us know where the party is. We're out here, partying." Anyway, let's put it this way. My dad did not find it as funny as we did. Let's just put it that way. And Craig did not either because Craig was, Andrew cried. He cried, Josh. Yeah, no shame in renting. Exactly. Yeah, Andrew's right. He's on the Trump train. He's like, Trump, let me tell you what we can do with Social Security. Anyway. For men, it's like 3 months, women longer stays by a few people result in that 100% Celtic spirit, 100%. Anyway, in Hawaii, lots of people have boarders even rent out their garage. Yeah, man. Yeah, so that's all I wanted. Trump will increase the debt to fund Social Security. Who has never? Tell me what president hasn't increased the debt? They all have. You said only, Mr. Ed, look at Mr. Ed. You said only take your Social Security at 62 if you're going to invest it. You can put earned income into Roth IRA. What would you invest in as an alternative? I'm not saying what you're saying. I'm not following you, man. Yeah, but Clinton didn't only had a surplus because of Republican in Congress. And so that only lasted 4 years. Clinton was president for 8 years. And as such, he had debt when he left office compared to when he took office. So Clinton did not decrease the government size of government debt. I'm not sure what you're saying there, Mr. Ed. You're saying what would you invest in as an alternative to what? To taking Social Security early? I'm not following what you're saying, man. Yeah, 100%. The way to fix Social Security is increase payroll tax. I completely agree. Make people have skin in the game. The more people have skin in the game, the less they're going to take it from us. That's what I don't get. Like all these people say, we don't want to increase taxes. No, payroll tax is a good tax to increase. I think by and large, people get it. They say, no, man. I mean, if you want your Social Security to be there, you're going to have to pay a little bit more for it. It's just, I don't see why that's so problematic. I just don't. Oh, it's going to dissuade people from hiring people. I'm like, huh? Well, because they have more expenses. Okay. I mean, I maybe, but I don't know about that. I mean, we hear all these like economists say, if you do this, then this will happen. And yet it's not based on anything other than their models. There's, their supply and demand things. Hey, it's Wilma. Wilma's a female, right on. Hey, Wilma. He means you can't put Social Security into a Roth, not without earning income. That's right. So what you're saying is is he saying instead of putting it into a Roth, what would you? Okay, maybe saying that. So what I would do, let me go back to Mr. Ed. What I would do is I just put. I mean, look, I don't know you, Mr. Ed. You don't know me, so I put all my investable assets in the Vanguard Total Stock Market Fund. I use an index fund called VTI. So I don't invest in a Roth. I don't do any. I put everything I got, $2,000 a month, into my VTI every month. Into VTI. It's very cheap. I think it costs like 0.03%, 3 basis points. Very limited dividends. Don't have to pay much tax on that, and no capital gains. So if I can't use a Roth, I'm using VTI. It's almost the same thing. Almost, not quite, but pretty doggone close. Look, we got a Spanish guy on here, Alfredo Garcia, another Guatemalan. They have been increasing the max Social Security limit for ages each year, but people aren't noticing. Yeah, that's true. That's true. AWI, but why would you? Why? I mean, why would you advocate for AWI to CPI? I don't want that. Just keep the AWI. I like the AWI. It just pays us more. We'd have Armageddon if significant changes were made. 100%, man. Absolutely. Well, I mean, the point is, remember, Social Security as it's sitting right now is fine, other than the payroll tax will pay 80% of all the expenditures going out. So the question is, how do we make up the other 20%? Well, just raise the payroll tax by 50 basis points each. I don't think that's a problem. Here's what I do. I say raise the payroll tax by 50. Oh, that's going to stop employment. People won't be inclined to work. I was like, what? Come on, man. If you're making $40,000 a year, you got a payroll tax of an extra 0.05, 0.5%. That's going to keep you from working. It's just, come on, man. These economists do. It's crazy. Like, no one's going to work if they got to pay an extra 0.05 of their salary. No one's going to hire anyone if they got to pay an extra point. I said, no, dude, come on, man. This is silly. It's kind of like saying tariffs cause inflation. I said, well, show me where that happened. Well, it might not cause inflation in the overall economy, but it caused on specific goods. Well, show me. I mean, literally, the massive tariffs on sugar from Cuba, because we imported all this Cuba sugar in 1930. There was no sugar inflation. Sugar prices went down. Massive tariffs. Well, that's because of the Great Depression. Okay, well, maybe so. But in that case, when you say tariffs cause inflation, I just gave an example where it literally did not happen. Then you say, well, because of this. Okay, so inherently you can't say tariffs do this if you have one example where it didn't happen. It's just, well, that's the exception to the rule. All right, well, show me where the rule is. Because I've proven time and time again, in an economic standpoint, tariffs don't cause inflation. I mean, they could, but they don't necessarily, because we have the 1890 McKinley Tariff Act. We got the 1922 tariff, a huge tariff act, and we got the Smoot-Hawley. It didn't cause inflation. It just didn't. So I don't know how anyone could, in fact, if any two of those 3 times, it caused deflation. The 1922 Tariff Act was basically almost like the inflation was tiny, hardly, very small, not enough to say anything. So tariffs everywhere and always cause inflation. Where? Inflation is always and everywhere a monetary phenomenon. Where? In a textbook. Doesn't mean it is. And yet we fall for this like it's God's word. It's just not. That doesn't mean it can't happen, but doesn't mean it will happen. It's just not silly. Oh yeah, what I'm saying, economists can be completely anyway. So what I'm saying is, why would we give up our benefit of Social Security with AWI and give it to CPI? Why would you want to do that? You're hurting your own self to solve an issue that's really not that hard to solve. So what I would do is, that's okay, folks. We're going to increase your Social Security by raising your payroll tax just a little bit. So the average consumer, let's say he's making $50,000 a year, and he'll have to pay an extra $50,000 a year. 50 times 0.05%. Whatever that is. I don't know what is that, $25? See, my calculator sucks, dude. Times 0.05. Whatever that is. I think I don't even know how much that is. 50,000, maybe one of you guys can say, because I'm having a hard time with this. Times 0.05%. I got $25. That doesn't seem right. 0.05%. No, it's times 0.05. 50,000, no. Times 0.05. Oh, here we go. 0.05. $250. $250, I think. So, if you get paid 24 times a year, that's an extra $10. And it will raise your Social Security. VTI, Victor Tango India. Well, because then you're really, because that hurts me big time. And I don't want to be hurt, because what you're doing there is you're punishing small business employers. So you're sitting there thinking, okay, so now I got to pay, again, I pay 6.2% times 2. I pay 12.4%. So if I'm a small business and I'm making $350,000 a year, and then my first $160,000, I got to pay 12.4, and now I got to pay 12.4 on the next $200,000. That's a huge tax hike. Huge. That's a big tax hike, dude. Because the vast majority of those people making above the cap are only making a couple $100,000 above the cap because they're self-employed or they're small business owners. That's different. That's a big time hit. That will reduce employment unequivocally, because you're like, dude, we're getting rid of the cap. That's huge. Can't do that. It's stupid. Now, I would have no qualm if you made over $1 million, you pay more to Social Security. That doesn't bother me at all. I don't like it, but I mean, I got no qualm with that. But that's not what we should do, because if you get rid of the cap and I did a video on this not too long ago, you're also giving huge increases in Social Security benefits to the people who now have to pay a higher amount. I did a video I was showing like Bill Gates making I can't remember what it was, $150,000 a month or something. I forgot. I can't remember exactly what it was. Do you really want Bill Gates making $150,000 a month in Social Security? No. So if you get rid of the cap and then you cap the benefits as well, now it's a pure welfare program. And we don't want that. We don't want Social Security to be conceived as a welfare program, because they can easily cut it. We want it to be conceived as an entitlement program, so it can never be cut. With FDR, to his credit, that's what he said. It'll never be cut if people have skin in the game. So the way you make people have skin in the game is say, okay, we're going to raise your taxes by $250 a year. We're going to give you a little bit higher of a benefit. I just think it makes sense. Now, if you want, what I would do is, again, as I said before, if you're making over $1 million a year, I get rid of your tax preference on qualified dividends and long-term capital gains. I make you pay ordinary income tax on those and have that to fund Social Security on top of getting people increasing the payroll tax for skin in the game. And then I'd get rid of change the second bend point, or even change the first bend point to 100% from 0.90. I think one of y'all told me that, so that's actually a real good idea. What I was saying is change the second point from 0.32 to 0.4. One of you guys just said, no, just make the first bend point 100%. Yeah, at 100%. That's fine. And that way you give people an incentive to keep paying into Social Security. They have skin in the game as well, and it's politically popular because people like Social Security. Yeah, I won't come anywhere near fix anything. What we're saying. I don't want means testing. Yeah, but I mean, now we're just going down the thing of the government's doing more. I don't want all that. I just say, look, man, make it simple. We don't want exclusion for small business. I don't want the government being involved any more than they have to be. I just think keep it simple. So we're going to say, okay, at the end of the day, you make this is what you pay to Social Security, and that will fund it, and you're going to get a little bit of a bump. I just think it's good. I just think it's good politics too. Well, see, this is the issue. Both parties will say they're going to try to cut your Social Security or they're going to try to raise your taxes. I mean, it's either both or both. Both parties will say it. It's so like they actually try to say Reagan raised taxes on Social Security, which is unequivocally true. But they seem to forget that Clinton did it as well. But Clinton did even worse because Reagan just said we're going to tax your first 50% of Social Security benefits. Oh, by the way, where they put the caps on it in terms of the provisional income, very, very, very few people paid tax on Social Security. So Reagan did pass. He signed by Democratic House and I think a Democratic Senate as well. So Democratic Congress. He did sign it. Very few people pay tax on Social Security. Clinton, on the other hand, he raised it from 50% to 85%, which means a hell of a lot more people pay tax on Social Security. And people pay tax on the money they'd already been taxed on. Reagan to do that. And Clinton did that with both massive majorities in Congress for Democrats. All right, so Reagan did it with a Democratic House and Democratic Senate. Clinton did it with a Democratic president and a Democratic House and Senate. So we have 6 branches of government. Congress, well, we have the Senate, the House, the presidency. 5 of those 6 were controlled by Democrats when they raised Social Security taxes. But they're going to tell you it's the Republicans are the ones who want to raise your tax on Social Security. Republicans are the ones who want to cut your benefits. A raising of the tax of Social Security, increasing the retirement age, is a cut in benefits. It's the Democrats who did that. So how do you negotiate with these people just going to lie to you? It's crazy. Crazy. All right. Yeah. No, a lot of people don't like that. I get it. Ted, I don't think you're making over $1 million though. So it's not going to affect you, but it could affect me. Nah, it's not. It won't. I mean, it could, but you're making over $1 million. And you got $70,000 of long-term capital gains and qualified dividends that you're paying basically 23.8. Now I'm going to say pay 35%. That's what an extra 12% on $70,000. What's an extra $15,000 in tax? But you already got $1 million of income. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Well, that's what I say. Go Roth and never touch your income again, unless people say, "Oh, but they're going to change the law." Is what Rick Edelman or something like that says. Stupid. Yeah, the question is who was in the Senate, and I know the House was controlled by the Democrats in 1983. I know that for a fact. I'm almost positive the Senate. See, the Senate was the Republicans had the Senate in the first 2 years of Reagan, 80 to 82. I don't think he had the Senate in 80 because I think the midterms hurt Reagan. And so I think the Democrats got the Senate back in 83. And as such, when the Social Security tax was passed in 83, it was a Democratic House and Senate. 100%. This is where absolutely Social Security is needed because the masses do not save. They will not save. 100%. 100%. I'll be dead by the time they fix Social Security. Yeah, you might be, Tom. We might all be. Dems have the advantage. See, this is what Mark is just being silly here. Republicans want to raise the age for Social Security and keep the cap. Dems want the opposite. Unfortunately, we do have idiots like Mike Lee with stupid comments stepping in the fray on this. I'm like, just shut the hell up, Mike. Mike Lee doesn't represent the Republican Party. He doesn't, just as stupid. But with that said, who raised the taxes on Social Security? Who reduced the benefits, Mike? What's this guy named Mark Reed? Who did it? The Republicans or the Democrats? I just told you it's the Democrats. So you can project like the Solinsky on us that the Republicans are the ones that are going to do it when it's the Democrats who did do it. They did it. 5 of the 6 branches of government the Democrats controlled. The Republicans only controlled 1. And so if you look back in history, we see the Democrats are the ones who reduced Social Security benefits. That's just a fact. Social Security is just it's just a Ponzi scheme. 53% of people have a defined benefit. That's not true. Not at all. They're not going to, 100%. They're not going to just say, okay, now everyone's going to suck it up. It's not going to happen. Yeah, so that's right. So the Democrats had both the Senate and the House in 1983. So remember, Reagan doesn't initiate legislation in a Democratic Congress. The legislation starts in the House Ways and Means Committee, moves up through the realm. They get the Senate passes, the House passes, they go through a conference. This is passed by a Democratic Congress, and they present it to Ronald Reagan. It wasn't passed by Reagan. He just signed the legislation. He didn't pass it. He just signed it. So tell Mark Reed to let's get our thinking caps on. Let's up our games here. We're going back in they've been saying this since Dewey. They're going to get rid of Social Security. They're fascists. It's like, dude, you guys are still using the same stuff. Come on, man. There's so much better arguments against the Republicans than this. It's so many better arguments. I mean, if I had to argue against the Republican Party, I'd say they're so knee-deep in Israel. That's what I'd say. They love their war. They love Israel. They love Ukraine. They love war. They are unequivocally, corporatist by and large. I mean, not like the Democrats are too, I grant you, but I would argue that the Republicans are very heavy into war, the war machine. They like big business for sure. You know what I'm saying? Now, with that said, are the Democrats different? A little bit on the war machine, but they love big business too. But if I was a Democrat, I would stop this stupid stuff. The Republicans are Nazis, they're fascists, they're going to cut Social Security. Dude, you guys have been doing this for freaking decades. It's just over. We haven't cut it. George Bush didn't cut it. Trump didn't cut it. We had both legislation chambers, and for 2 years of Trump, for almost the whole thing of Bush, except for the last 2 years, it wasn't cut. In fact, Bush added Part D. I mean, Bush has added Part D. So we've increased Medicare. We've increased Social Security. You guys cut Social Security. We increased Medicare. Got to come up with something new. I'd say the Republicans are willing to give, this is what I say, and the Republicans have a good retort to this, but I think it's stick. Republicans want to give Israel all this money to fight wars, and yet they didn't do anything about their own border wall. That's what I would do. I'd do that what I'm saying. I'd also say Republicans wanted to take away your health care. That's what I say too, other than John McCain, but you don't have to say it. I say Republicans voted to take away your health care. It's a bad argument, but I think it'd go over well because it's kind of true. The Republicans did want to get rid of Obamacare because Obamacare is not affordable. It sucks. Unfortunately, John McCain stood in there, and that sucks. And here we are paying the price for that. Those are good arguments. The Social Security stuff is dumb. Frankly, it is. It's embarrassing. Anyone who says this is just silly. I just you're not serious in my eyes. You could be serious in other things. Republicans were knee deep on vaccines until it wasn't become popular. Now they're not knee deep on vaccines because there's tons of Republicans out there, dude, tons of them, who are freaking heavy on pro-vax stuff. Republicans like George Floyd, like the senator from Indiana, Todd Young, heavy on vaccines. Loved him some George Floyd and loved him some Israel. And if I was the Democrats, I'd be hammering that stuff. But the thing is, the Democrats love them some vaccines. That's the problem. The Democrats we want to be more pro-vax than the Republican Party. So that might not last so much. But I would use that to say, you can't trust the Republicans. Here's Todd Young saying he loved the vax, he loved George Floyd, and he loved war. But now he's turned. That's what I'd use. That's what I would do. But if you guys want to keep doing the stupidity of identity politics and the stupid Social Security stuff, more power to you. The identity all the problem you guys don't understand with identity politics. It's a two-way street. It takes what used to be a nonpartisan group of people, whites, who used to be very cautious about being pro-identitarian, and making them more and more pro-identitarian. We're less cautious about being white anymore. And I don't think that's a battle you want to go down, because we still have a large contingent of whites who have been holding their tongues for many years, recognizing that, hey, we've had it pretty good. It's okay for other people to get it, to advance to some regard, but we're not going to do it on the backs of my kids, for heaven's sake. We're not going to do it on white kids. I mean, I got 2 white boys. My wife's got 3 white, a husband who's white and 2 white kids. At some point, you go down that road too much. All you're doing is you're pushing the whites into a corner and say, you can't return from this. And then you're pushing their spouses and their sisters and their daughters in that corner too, because their daughter's like, I know my dad isn't a tyrant. I know he's not this. You guys keep saying that. I'm going to back my dad before I back AOC. And that's what happens. So you push. That's why 53% of white women voted for the Republicans, because they saw the freaking anti-whiteism. And they're like, nah, that's crazy talk. And on top of that, a lot of blacks, not as many as I hope, but a lot of blacks, they don't want to hear that crap either. They're like, nah, man, I don't want to hear that crap too. So what's happening is the more identitarian politics that Democrats push, the more they're pushing identitarian politics on the right, when the right try to avoid that for so many years. I don't like identitarian politics. I'll take a freaking conservative black guy any day of the week over a liberal white. Dude, one conservative black guy will crush 5 liberal whites. I guarantee it, because liberal whites are the worst people in the world. But at the end of the day, how many conservative blacks are there? Well, they're starting to grow more and more and more. And part of the reason is because the identitarian politics that the Dems used have put black women above everything. And I listen to a lot of these black guys on the YouTube. And trust me, man, there is some serious animosity between black men and black women. You know what I'm saying? And I just, there used to be a guy named Kevin Samuels who died. And man, he was making huge inroads. And he was saying to black women, like, dude, you guys, you're griping that black men are choosing white girls, but look at what we're doing. And it was crazy. And he died. But anyway, there's been a number of black guys who are saying the truth on this stuff. So when you put black women on a pedestal, there's a lot of black men who are saying, no, man, I'm not having that. And that's, anyway, it's just, if I were the Democrats, I would change my tact. I would go to populism. Populism sells. Anti-whiteism doesn't. It sells for a little bit, but after a while, people realize, oh, wait, I'm white too, and my kids are white. But Democrats aren't that bright. They're just not. They're very emotional. That's why they're good. That's why they're creators, by the way. They're very emotional driven. They're not deep thinkers. They're emotional driven. As such, that's why they're pretty good at music, pretty good at creating things, because they're emotional. How dare you, Andrew? Yeah, I think generally speaking, I think that's right. Men are becoming more conservative while women are becoming more liberal. Yeah. Well, the reason women are becoming more liberal is because there's being less and less marriages. The truest way to be conservative is to be married and have kids. Kevin died with a couple hookers. For real? That's sad, man. I don't know what IIRC. Yeah, I think this is true. Black men are becoming conservative because men and women who are single are growing apart. I think that's 100% right. Yeah, I think that's true. Trump came up earlier this week supporting longshoremen to Maine. Someone finally got Republicans need to change to increase his base 100%, if I recall correctly. Right on. Yeah, I think that's true, Ted. I think that's a big deal, 100%. I'm already hearing my libertarian right-wing friends like, we should automate this, on Twitter and stuff. Let it be automated. We'll all save it. I was like, yeah, wait till they automate you, man. All right. Price transparency for healthcare costs. Doc would compete on a little 100%, dude. If you had a choice, say, hey, this is what, just like going to buy meat or gasoline, watch how much the prices drop. But the problem with that is everything's through insurance, so you don't really care. You're like, hey, insurance will cover it. All right. None of the politicians want out of office. They all pass the buck. Yep, 100%, man. What's all this about women in 4B? I don't even know what 4B is. I don't know, Harry. Thank God we don't know. Something tells me. Yeah, no, I like CDs, Jerry. 100%. I'm a big fan of CDs. Absolutely. I think globalist cabal wants to destroy nuclear family, ruin fabric. Yeah, that's why Black Lives Matter. It's such a fake operation. They hated the family, nuclear family. They said that. There were, trans gay black women who they wanted to destroy the nuclear family. Isn't not touching? No, but see, now you're using it in negative. Isn't not touching? No. Not touching Social Security and Medicare populism. You can't see this is weird to me, Mark. I'm not touching it. So give me the populism cred. No, that's just saying we're not going to do something. That's not, yeah. If people are not in a good place, saying we're not going to do something isn't very populism. What you need to say is what I think actually the Democrats would be smart if they said, and I think I can't stand Bernie Sanders, and the guy's a clown. Look, the guy's a fake, but still, we're going to give, this is what I would do. And if I've been saying this for freaking years on my own videos. If Republicans were smart, they'd advocate an increase in Social Security. That's what they would do. They'd get rid of the idiots who say we're going to cut Social Security, and we'd advocate an increase. Democrats, by and large, have done that, but not on the, Kamal wasn't saying that. They weren't saying that. It's crazy. They're just saying we're going to stop Trump. I was like, no, dude, you got to bring a new thing to the table, man. You can't just say, we're not going to do this. I'm populism. I'm not going to touch your Roth IRAs. No. Populism is reaching out to the middle and lower income families and saying, how are we going to improve your financial situation? That's populism. Now, what Republicans will do, argue all day long, and Democrats do, oh, you're voting against yourself. You're voting against your whole self-interest. Like when Democrats will say Republican, they're voting against their self-interest. I'm like, why? Well, because, Republicans are going to cut your Social Security benefits. It never happened. In fact, you guys cut the Social Security benefits. In fact, you guys cut Social Security benefits and left 1,000 million immigrants come over here and storm the borders, which costs our jobs, costs our wages, hurt us financially, hurt our neighborhoods, which is why we got more black vote than we ever had from basically 1960, I guess 1964, something like that. So that's not very populism. Populism that's not it. So the Republicans, on the other hand, say we have to automate the longshoremen out of work, because if we don't, then we're going to be paying higher wages and higher import duties and whatnot, and stuff like this. Well, yeah, but there's the same thing they'll say about lobstermen in Maine. We have to do all these regulations on lobstermen, or else pretty soon there'll be no more lobstermen. Republicans aren't saying this, Democrats are, just so they can get windmills. It's evil, sick stuff. But no. That's they always say these people, because they always say that the ragamuffins, the poor the middle class and lower income people, they vote against their self-interest, but they never realize sometimes their self-interest isn't all financial. Sometimes it's actually social values too. A lot of people still don't like the trans stuff. They don't. They still don't like the LGBT silent P groups. They don't. I think most people have come to realization that these people are going to get married and whatever. They don't like it, but they're like, all right. But they don't like we don't like 8,000 different languages coming to the United States. I just listened to Jason Whitlock, who interviewed John Rocker. Remember John Rocker who basically the first guy who got canceled. He goes, you go to Times Square, you never hear English speak. A lot of people like that. A lot of people don't like all these people coming here and abusing our country. You see what I'm saying? And they know it hurts us financially for this. So as such, if I was a Democrat, I'd say, and this is what the guy in Britain's starting to do. He's starting to, and rightly so. I mean, the guy's a scumbag, but he's calling out the Tories for allowing all this immigration in. And he's 100% right. The mass immigration that happened in the UK happened under the Tory watch, not the Labour watch. Now, the Labour is all about it, but he's saying it because he knows which way the political winds are going. He says, yikes, people don't like immigration. They don't like people coming here who can't speak the language. We need to start friggin' doing something about this. I'm going to blame who's to blame, which is the Tories. Very smart politics, actually. Very smart. So what the Republicans should do when it comes to Social Security debate, say, who are the people who raised your Social Security taxes, who cut your benefits? Was it us or was it them? And then show right there a big face of Bill Clinton signing the Social Security tax hike. That's what I would do right there. It's a great strategy. We, the Republicans, want to increase your Social Security. We want to increase your Social Security, and we want to protect it. They've proven that you can't trust them when it comes to Social Security. Oh, man. What a 100%. White women need to push out more kids. Michigan's lawmakers just increased the cost for a marriage license. That sounds very discriminatory against Muslims. Very discriminatory against Muslims. I don't know if you have, yeah, right on. That's right. Marge Scott, I forgot about her. That's right, Pulver. Marge Scott. Yeah, but she said against the group you should never criticize. You can never criticize that one group. Yeah. I said you should have criticized that one group, and I got the minute I said you should have. The minute I said you shouldn't criticize that one group, it went back. It went black. You see that pulverizer? I said, man, you shouldn't criticize that one group. And it went black. Literally, the last thing I said. Oh my goodness, that was funny, man. You shouldn't criticize that one group, and kaboom. Oh, that is funny. All right, actually, but evangelicals are having kids, but most average whites are not. Yep. I was canceled. Canceled. The minute pulverizer brought up Marge Shot. Canceled. All right, well, I'm going to get out of here, my friends. I'm getting tired now. I am going to try to get some sleep tonight. I'm just fighting something. Can you all hear me, though? Hopefully you can hear me. Jeremy, what the hell are you freaking Jeremy? Jeremy's really getting on my nerves lately. Who else is Jeremy's getting on? Had a friend in Maine who is a lifelong commercial fisherman to the regulations put him out of business. The strangest thing, he pulled up a WW2 anti-submarine mine placed in Casco Bay. Wow, that's crazy. All right. Yeah, God bless, guys. I'm going to get out of here, man. Appreciate y'all being here. We'll see you guys. Just God is good always. Let's say quick prayers. Heavenly Father, we just pray for our world, for America. We pray for Donald Trump. We pray for Joe Biden. We pray for our leaders to lead us in the most honorable way possible. We pray for all the people who are suffering right now. Lord, just shine your glory on them. We know you're doing it anyway, but please, Lord, give them the courage to see you, to know you, to understand you, and know that you love us all. We pray in Jesus' name, amen. All right, I'm going to get out of here. God bless, guys. We'll see you. Thanks again.